Mr. Vice President, as Martha pointed out, the hearings focused a lot on coronavirus and health care. And I wonder if you think that it would have just been easier for the Trump administration to have withdrawn this lawsuit that has caused so many political headaches for the Republican Party.
Well, Dana, good to be with you from Columbus, Ohio. Tremendous enthusiasm out here across the Buckeye State for President Donald Trump's reelection. And I think it's because this president's kept the promises that he's made to the people of this state. And as the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, the president's elected for 4 years. So let's just begin there. That, you know, there have been 29 vacancies on the Supreme Court during election years since George Washington through Barack Obama. And in all 29 cases, the president made a nomination. The Senate is now participating in their constitutional role to advise and consent. The opening statements today are going to give way to hearings over the course of this coming week. But everyone is doing their constitutional duty. I think what is really striking is that it would be I'm curious whether Joe Biden in Ohio today is going to answer the question that he refused to answer in the presidential debate. Kamala Harris refused to answer in the vice presidential debate, and that is whether they're going to yield to the radical left and pack the court if they somehow win this election. I mean, it really is outrageous that on Friday, Joe Biden said that the American people don't deserve to know whether or not he's going to pack the court, a court that's been 9 justices for 150 years. But here the liberals go. They're going to say if we can't win by the rules, we're going to change the rules after the election. We're going to add seats to the court and obviate what Republicans are doing in their constitutional duty. I think the American people see through it. I think it's why you're going to see 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. Yeah,
and I definitely think the court packing question is one that keeps coming up over and over again, and they do refuse to answer it. So that is absolutely a fair question to be put to them. I do want to just ask you once again, though, because you're going to hear a lot in the next 2 days about the.
I'll speak about. I'm happy to speak about the health care issue. I'm happy to talk about that. You know, I wouldn't want to presume how a Justice Amy Coney Barrett would rule on any case, but President Trump has made it very clear that we are going to repeal and replace Obamacare with the kind of health care that lowers the cost of health insurance without growing government, and we're going to protect pre-existing conditions just in the way that we did when we moved legislation. We got within 1 vote of legislation that protected pre-existing conditions. I mean, what you've got them pushing is in Joe Biden with Obamacare plus a public option is a government takeover of health care. When the people of Ohio know, people across this country know, Obamacare was a disaster. I mean, they said if you like your doctor, you can keep it. If you like your health insurance, you can keep it. They said premiums would go down. When we came into office, premiums had doubled under Obamacare. Now, we've managed it in ways that have helped Americans deal with it, but the American people deserve better health care than the failed policies of Obamacare. And with 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House, we're going to protect pre-existing conditions. We're going to give them more options in a free market economy solution, not a government takeover of health care that will set us on an inexorable path to socialized medicine.
Do you regret that the Trump administration hasn't put forward a comprehensive legislative plan that would address this question of pre-existing conditions so that your Republicans that are out there trying to fight for their seats right now, especially in these battleground states for the Senate, it kind of hangs in the balance, and the Democrats have so much money and they're running ads against Republicans based on this question about pre-existing conditions?
Well, Dana, we had a bill in 2017. It passed the House of Representatives a couple of times. It came within 1 vote, the floor of the Senate. Democrats totally opposed it. It included a health savings account. It used what's called high-risk pools, where people with pre-existing conditions could get subsidized coverage on the state level that would allow others to purchase health insurance on an open free market. You could buy health insurance across state lines, much less expensive. I mean, I say again, Obamacare, we saw health insurance premiums double. It was a disaster. And what we have done is managed to repeal the individual mandate. I mean, think about that. The American people, when Joe Biden was vice president, had to pay for health insurance whether you got it or not. The president got rid of the individual mandate. But look, Look, this is all kind of predictable election year politics. They talked a lot about it in the hearing today. The American people know no one is more committed to giving the American people low-cost health insurance, to protecting Americans with pre-existing conditions than President Donald Trump.
I love the cheering section. I want my own. Actually, one of these days, maybe I'll get one. Let me just also ask you a little bit more about the hearings, because in addition to health care, I think you're going to hear a lot about Roe v. Wade. And Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri, has said that he wants to vote for her because she understands, in his words, that Roe is an act of judicial imperialism. Is that how you see it as well?
Well, look, I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. But again, I'm not going to presume how a Justice Amy Coney Barrett would rule. I mean, look, President Trump selected Judge Barrett, nominated her to the Supreme Court because she is a principled, brilliant jurist who will apply laws as written, will not legislate from the bench, will uphold the Constitution of the United States. And I think the American people could see in her opening statement today, they can see as they look at her life, her family, her extraordinary career, that America and our Constitution will be better off the day that Judge Amy Coney Barrett becomes Justice Amy Coney Barrett.
And the Indiana contingent continues to grow in Washington, D.C., and indeed she was very impressive in her opening statement. Let me move to the other issue. Okay, so coronavirus, here we have it. You're out on the campaign trail. The president says he is able to now travel and do rallies. You're the chairman of the White House Coronavirus Task Force. Are you comfortable with rallies going forward at this point?
Well, I really am. We had a great rally here in Columbus, Ohio today. Lots of enthusiasm, a great outdoor rally. And look, one of the things the American people have proved over the last 8 months is people know how to put their health first, the health of their families and their neighbors first. And President Trump and I trust the American people. And the progress that we've made over the last 8 months here in Ohio, where the positivity rate is well below 3%, we're going to continue to make sure that we surge PPE and supplies and resources, even as we drive relentlessly toward a vaccine. But we all know this election may be one of the most important elections in the life of this nation. And as the president made clear in remarks on the South Lawn, and he'll make clear tonight in Florida, we're going to take our case to the American people. The American people have a right to peaceably assemble. They have a right to gather, to hear out our candidates and our cause, and we're going to carry our message all across this country and all the way to victory on November 3rd. And after that, I believe with all my heart, before the end of this year, we're going to have the first safe and effective vaccine for the coronavirus. We'll have tens of millions of doses to administer to the most vulnerable among us. And the day will come, Dana, when we put this coronavirus in the past. And with 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House, we're going to bring this economy back stronger than ever before.
Well, nobody would love to have that more than all the people there standing behind you, but across the country, people do want that to happen. But in the meantime, you are seeing these increases, especially in Europe. You know, our situation lagged about 3 months behind Europe's, or about 2 months. What do you know about what's happening there and what we can expect here? And can you commit that there would be no additional calls for lockdowns from a Trump administration?
Well, we're watching cases rise in Central Europe. Look, Dana, this is a global pandemic. Our focus has been on the health of the American people, but we recognize that you're seeing cases rising in other places around the world. And we're not going to have this behind us until we have a safe and effective vaccine. That's why it really is remarkable that under President Trump's leadership with Operation Warp Speed, we really are on track to have 1 and maybe more safe and effective coronavirus vaccines before the end of this year. And I want your viewers to understand, at the president's direction, we're also manufacturing those vaccines right now so that the second that the FDA says that they're safe and effective, we can distribute millions of doses around the country. And I truly do believe it's a testament to our incredible healthcare companies. It's one of the reasons why I called out Kamala Harris in that debate last week over the fact that she said that she wouldn't trust Donald Trump, a vaccine developed under Donald Trump's administration. That's outrageous. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got to stop playing politics with people's lives. I mean, we're going to have a safe and effective vaccine, and when we do, it's going to be a tribute to our incredible healthcare research community. It's going to be a tribute to the leadership of President Trump.
Okay, Mr. Vice President, I have to ask you, because you're a dad, and I want to know what your kids said to you when you finished that debate and they told you about the fly that had landed on your head.
Well, they're the ones that told me.
I bet they did.
I didn't know he was there. No, my kid, you know what? I love my kids. I got a law school grad who's going to get married next year. I got a Navy wife who's a published author and an incredible gal. My daughters actually helped me with debate prep, and my Marine Corps son and his wife were there as well. And they all told me, Dad, you did okay, but they did tell me about the fly. And it was a good laugh for all of us.
I know. I mean, honestly, for every family dinner from here on out, it could be the story of, that just brings down the house. Vice President Pence, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Dan. Great to be with you.